Attention all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Just got back from Israel. Alex Traiman was the man who put together that unbelievable 3-day JNS.org International Policy Summit where, again, I spoke, Bibi, Mike Huckabee, Mark Levin, hundreds and thousands of other big names. So, Alex, let me start by saying congratulations. This was now the second year we've done this. It was even better this year than last year. So congratulations.
Thanks so much, Sid, and so glad you were there to join us.
No, I loved every second of it. I really did. And I know Israel misses me already, yes?
Absolutely. I don't know how we're getting on without you.
I got all these people that want to run for mayor of New York now, Michael Rappaport, Dave Portnoy, all these people, and Jessica Tisch, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll just move there, run for mayor of Tel Aviv, or when Leon steps down, mayor of Jerusalem. How about that?
That would be good. I think you'd have some tight competition, but you could do it.
No, I think they love it out there. They love it. They're ready for some excitement. And I did talk about Bibi speaking the same night that I did. Me and Mark Levin spoke right before Bibi. That was last Sunday night. And, I talk about this on the show all the time. It's become a sport in the United States and around the world to hate Bibi and hate Israel. Bibi's a terrible guy. He's committing genocide. He's murdering babies. I mean, just so uninformed and stupid. Every world leader should be like Bibi. This poor bastard is trying to protect a country the size of New Jersey with 10 or 11 neighboring countries that want to kill him. Europe hates him. United States, they're not doing Bibi any favors, to be honest, the last couple of months either. So this guy should be commended, congratulated. People should watch how this guy works every day, that he's keeping you 10 million people as safe as possible, yet he gets hammered around the world. So I love when he said, Alex, he goes, let me ask you something. If a bunch of terrorists came through the border in America, pick a city, Cincinnati, Sacramento, Brooklyn, and raped and murdered innocent Americans, 1,300, left them dead in the streets, what do you think President Trump would do? And I say that all the time. Bibi right there, Alex Traiman, right on the money.
Yeah, I think the Prime Minister gave a lot of insights into how he thinks about this war, about how he works to defend the citizens of Israel, discussed just how important it is to keep that security perimeter inside South Lebanon, and, of course, that he insisted that as long as he's the Prime Minister, that Iran will never get nuclear weapons.
Which is exactly what President Trump said. And I will say this because I said the same thing on Fox News early Sunday morning. And to folks who keep asking me, what do the Israelis feel about Trump now? Because not that long ago, Trump was more popular than anybody, including Bibi. Trump could have won with 99% of the vote. And it's anecdotal, just me, but almost everybody I spoke to in Israel, very disappointed with President Trump. What do you see? You live there.
Yeah, I would say that the president's support, his approval ratings in Israel have dropped significantly. And it's not because of everything that the president has done for Israel. And he's done amazing things for Israel, including flying side by side with the Israeli Air Force over 6 weeks during the Operation Epic Fury, when they took out all of the Iranian nuclear facilities and also the ballistic missiles. But specifically because here in Israel, we felt that Iran was on the ropes, and the president, A, decided to let up the military pressure, and B, let up the economic pressure. But C, just talking so nicely about all of these fanatics across the Middle East, like Erdogan in Turkey, Al-Thani in Qatar, the field marshal in Pakistan, about how wonderful they are, and then also saying that Netanyahu is effing crazy, or is a little bit too, is making bad decisions, and I think a lot of Israelis can can see that the president's interests have shifted, and that's okay. They can, but really the president should be praising the prime minister for his war leadership and praising the Israeli Air Force for doing just an incredible job over 6 weeks. We didn't even lose one pilot.
Not one. I agree with you, but there are some that'll say this is what President Trump does, whether it's Putin, whether it's Kim Jong. You mentioned all those bad people, Arab leaders. Look, I got it right here in New York. This Mamdani, who is the biggest scumbag in the history of American politics, the biggest scumbag, Trump, at least once a week, finds a way to call him good-looking, calls him smart, and some say to me, Sid, that's how Trump operates. He believes being close with the enemy actually will give him wiggle room to negotiate, get something done somewhere down the road. That may be true, but it hits close to home for me with Mamdani, and I know it hits close to home with you with Bibi.
Well, I think so, but you hear the things that are being leaked from the Trump administration. It's not just from Trump directly in his phone calls with Barack Ravid, but we see that there's a regular stream of information that is widely believed to be coming from the offices of Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff and even from J.D. Vance. They're all coming out very negative against Netanyahu, and the feeling among them is that they'd like to see Netanyahu out, actually, so that they can get in another leader that will basically do whatever the president of the United States tells them to do. And there's a feeling here in Israel that even though Netanyahu, he's at the same time the most popular and the most unpopular politician in Israel, that he is willing to stand up to an American president, whether that was Obama, whether that was Joe Biden, and even whether it's a good friend like Donald Trump.
And Trump's the same thing here. He's beloved and he's hated at the same time. See, Witkoff is Jewish. Kushner is Jewish. JD's not, and I'm on record now for quite some time. I think I was the first. Because my relationship with Marco Rubio dates all the way back to 2010 on a personal level. I was down in Florida. He was in Miami running for state senate. And he'll be the first to admit, and he did on this show back last August, I helped him win his very first ever state senate seat down in Florida back in 2011. I love Marco Rubio. He loves Israel.
Well, I think if you poll Israelis now, like which member of the administration they like the best, if it was Vance, even if it was Trump, even if it was Marco Rubio, I think Marco Rubio would score the highest marks over here. And this deal that he did now to help broker a ceasefire and armistice now with Lebanon actually really is very helpful for Israel on the one, and also tries to undo some of the damage that was done by J.D. Vance and the MOU that the United States has been entering into with Iran.
See, that was my point. You're right. Marco now is the most popular in Israel, and he's always been my choice to be the next nominee. I don't know if President Trump will afford him that opportunity, or they're just going to, groom J.D. Vance for that. But of the three you just mentioned, J.D. Vance, by a long distance, is my least favorite. My least.
Yeah, and I think that this deal that's been signed to get this ceasefire in Iran is potentially a setup that can come back to harm J.D. Vance and his prospects for inheriting the presidency moving forward, because you see that the Iranians really have no interest in getting to real peace. Quite the opposite. They seem pretty intent on embarrassing the president of the United States, because that's how they demonstrate that they have won this conflict, by forcing basically the U.S. president to not want to go any further with the military, by releasing funds to Iran, and by humiliating the president and the United States.
Depending on who you talk to, Alex Traiman, CEO, JNS.org, joining me live right now from Jerusalem. He's been on about 250 times since October 9th of 2023. That's a real number. Some people think, well, the stock market is up and the S&P is up and oil is going down, so we're winning the war. I don't agree with that, okay? To win the war, we were told by President Trump that we got to get the dust. We don't have it. That obviously there has to be some type of control with the regime. I don't believe we've got that. And the Strait has to be open with America making all the decisions, not the Iranians. We don't have that either. The naval blockade did a very, very good job, but they're not there. So I'm trying to figure out, based on the metrics that the President of the United States, my friend, I love the guy. I love him. But based on his metrics, How is America winning this war?
Well, what America did do, and there's no doubt about it, is that they removed an existential threat to the entirety of the Middle East, in particular, certainly to Israel and to the entire world. Iran is no longer a nuclear power, and that is only because President Trump did what no other president was willing to do.